What's going on, guys, and welcome to Rabbit's Used Cars. You know, it's so funny. You see a car, and it kind of reminds you of something. And the story that I was actually going to tell today, I actually kind of vetoed that one and changed stories midstream when I saw this car. It instantly brought back a memory. And the thing was funny, it wasn't even a Camaro that the memory was about. It was actually a second-gen Trans Am, a late second-gen Trans Am. So, and it was just kind of funny. Just go with me there. People come to me all the time. I get messages and phone calls and just random things, and people at events. You know, Rob, man, you know, the hustle, and I love it, and you're flipping and doing this. I want to get into this, and I want to work for myself, and I want to do this, and I want to get bigger, and I want this and this and this. You know, you got to be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. I love it. But, you know, also you've seen in some of my videos, like the price of success. There's a price you pay for that. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm sweating my ass off in this oven of a warehouse doing this video because I want to put this video out. But I feel like some of you guys need to hear this. A few years back, a good friend of mine he opened up a restaurant, and it did really good. It just took off. And that's one business that I never have fooled around with, is being in the whole restaurant food service industry. My heart goes out to you guys. I could never do it. You know, I mean, it amazes me how people can order food and make, how a restaurant even makes money, you know, like that. You know, my buddy did it, and he hit the ground running. Well, next thing you know, he's opening up a second location. And the next thing you know, he has the Rob Pitts Burger. The next thing you know, he has a third location, and then a fourth location, then a fifth location. And, you know, and I'm so proud of my buddy. You know, I'm like over here just cheering him on because I love it. I love to see people doing good. And that's something I've always been there to cheer somebody on. Whether they're selling cars, selling hamburgers, selling dope, it don't matter. You're making money, I'm proud of you. Maybe not the last one, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I love to see people succeed. I love it. It really puts joy in my heart. You know, I take pride in what I do, so I see what they're going through, and I see what they're going to go through. And I love to be there to lend a hand, lend some advice, or even just be an ear, you know? I mean, you gotta think about it, guys. We were all born with 2 ears and 1 mouth. We were all made to listen. You know, my buddy calls me up, and, you know, in the middle of all this, with these restaurants and all, he met, you know, his wife. And then, you know, of course, had the wedding, and then she gets pregnant, and they got a little one now. Well, you know, a couple of years goes by, and about the time he's opening up this fifth restaurant, she's pregnant again. He calls me up one week, and he goes, Rob, I think I'm gonna go out and buy me a Harley. He said, I want a big, just dresser Harley. He said, what would you get? And I said, well, I'm not the biggest motorcycle guy, but I got several friends at the Harley store, and we can definitely get you a good deal on something nice, you know? So I actually went with him. We went to the Harley store, and we looked at motorcycles all day long. Motorcycles do not even remotely interest me. You know, I mean, they're okay. You know, there's some pretty ones, but at the end of the day, I was there for him, you know, hanging out with my buddy. He works all the time. You got to think about it in a restaurant. I mean, 6 days a week, 7 in the morning till 10 at night. Yeah, so the only time I ever got to see my buddy is actually going into a restaurant and having lunch in one of his restaurants. And even then, he's running back and forth, and, you know, he's got his towel out, he's wiping down tables, or, you know, he's hollering back to the kitchen, or hell, he's back there cooking. You know how many times I've ate a cheeseburger standing up in his restaurant watching him cook over a grill? And this guy owns all these restaurants, but that's the thing. You gotta understand, when you're in business, you have to wear so many hats. Just like right here at the RUC, son. Not only am I the CEO, but I'm also the janitor. I'm everything in between. You know, I got a lot of good friends that help me along the way, but when one of those guys can't do it, guess who does? This guy. That's a lot about being in business. You know, a lot of people think, oh, you know, you work for yourself. You just point your finger and you tell them to do it. It doesn't necessarily work like that. And also, a part of being a good leader, a good manager, is you would never ask somebody to do something you wouldn't do. You know, nobody's above working. And that's a big thing. And this guy, he totally had that down. I mean, his work ethic was nothing short of epic. 6 months goes by, baby's here, second baby's here now. You know, he's running around like crazy. And I'll be honest with you, the only way I'm keeping up with him is he's on my Facebook, you know, just social media. Every once in a while, like you'll see a Sunday picture of him and his wife and the kids. Boom, boom. They're in the hospital. Boom. Oh, look, you know, the baby got baptized. Boom. You know, that's all we've seen. And my buddy was just running back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Almost like a pinball machine bouncing back and forth. And I almost laugh when I see this, because I mean, that's my life in a nutshell. I bounce between this and 2 other companies all the time. But back to the story. My phone rings. He goes, Rob, we need to go grab a cup of coffee. And it kind of caught me off guard because it's been so long since we just sat. Hell, I didn't even know he drank coffee. And I mean, I'll drink it, every day, all day. I mean, even when it's 100 degrees outside. He goes, we need to have a cup of coffee. So we sit down and we have a cup of coffee, and not at his restaurant. My friend looked rough. Bags under his eyes, hair's all over the place, shirt's wrinkled up, half tucked in. I mean, he looked like you got hit at and missed and shit at and hit. I mean, he just looked horrible. I said, man, what's going on? He goes, man, is it worth it? So what are you talking about? He goes, how do you do it? He said, I said, what are you talking about? How do I do it? He goes, you're always on the go, and you're so cool, calm, and collected all the time. And the first thing that popped in my head is you are not around me all the time. And my cameraman snickers behind the camera as I say that, but it's so true. We have fun times here. We have not so fun times here. It just happens. So I told him, hey, buddy, you got to take the good with the bad. And I said, that's part of being in business for yourself. And he said, I understand that. But he said, is it worth it? And that got me thinking. 2 failed marriages, lost count on engagements in my life. Like, everybody wants that successful guy. Everybody wants that busy guy. Everybody wants that funny guy. And that guy that's, a hit at parties or when your friends come around. Oh my God, I just absolutely love him. He is so hilarious. Yeah, it is. But when you have him around 24/7, you don't turn that off. It don't go back and forth. It's all the time. And very few people can keep up with that. Very few people are going to want that all the time and understand that your time is very little with any one person because you're running back and forth. So, yeah, you have things that other people don't have and get opportunities that other people don't have, but you traded your time for that. The thing you understand, time's a very precious thing. All the money in the world don't buy you time. Whether it's with a loved one, whether it's with a spouse, whether it's with your child, and it gets you thinking about things like that. And I told him, I said, brother, I don't know if I can answer that for you or not. I said, we're in 2 totally different life situations right now, And he goes, I understand. He said, it was just kind of nice to have a kind ear. I said, brother, I'm always here for you, man. He left. Didn't really hear much out of him for a little while. This has probably been about 9 months ago now. Bought a new house. Different side of town. Well, what do? Got your little local convenience store, the one that's close to your house, the one you go into and they all know your name. That was this store is not even 2 blocks from my house. I walk in to get a carton of those voice enhancing stress relievers. I walk up to the counter at the gas station, and you'll never guess who's standing behind the counter. My old buddy, the restaurant guy. Big smile on his face, looks 10 years younger than the last time I saw him. Got his name tag on crooked, shirt tucked in. He's just happy as a lark. And I was kind of shocked. It's got 5 restaurants, and now you're working at a gas station. He goes, hey, Rob, you got a minute? I was like, yeah, I definitely got a minute for this. I walked outside, and he came out shortly after. His Harley parked out front. He goes, man, I took your advice. I said, my advice? He goes, yeah, when I asked you if it was worth it. And I said, you said it was totally up to me. It's not. And I said, well, all the restaurants are open. He said, yeah, but I sold them all. Sold the name, sold everything. I'm like, what? I sold everything. His wife was cutting hair before she started having kids. Well, she was kind of a stay-at-home mom. My wife, she went back to work cutting hair. He said, I come in here at 7 o'clock at night. He said, I work till 2 in the morning. He said, I ride my little Harley into work. I get to spend all day with my kids. He said, my wife's cutting hair again. He goes, I get to spend all day with my kids. I wake up next to my beautiful wife, my kids. We have breakfast. We have lunch. We watch cartoons and do all the things with my kids. He said, and then, my wife comes home. We have dinner. Everything's good to go. peaceful, no more arguments like, hey, when are you coming home or any of that stuff. He goes, I get on my little Harley if the weather's nice. And he said, I ride down here, I park it. He said, I work 32 hours a week, just enough to keep full-time benefits on me and my wife. And he said, you know what, I come in, he said, I mop floors, I clean the bathroom, run the cash register. He said, stock the cigarettes, said, stock the drinks. I fill up the hot dog machine thing right there. And he said, I absolutely love it. He says, probably the best job I've ever had in my life. He said, right now I'm making less money than I did when I was 17 years old. And I am the happiest man alive. You couldn't help but smile because he was so happy. Me, the first thing that came to mind was, you just let all that go. And I guess that's the hustler in me. Like, I can't, like, I'm scared to stop. I think that's the way to put it. I'm scared to stop hustling. Like, yeah, I could take a break. I'll be honest with you, if I never sold another car again, I'd be fine. I mean, hell, if I never made another YouTube video, it's not that big a deal. But I'm always going. I want to grow. I want to constantly be going. I'm scared to stop, but he wasn't. And look at him. Look how happy he is. It makes you think. It really does. And I wanted to tell you that story to make you guys just think about it. Because you got to be careful what you wish for, because sometimes you just might get it. Guys, I tell you what, enough with the PSA. Let's talk about this gorgeous 1978 Camaro Z28, the year I was born. Actually, my mother had a 1979 Z28, except hers was blue in color when I was born, actually, which is the perfect car to have with a kid, I understand. These cars are so cool. Value-wise, they're really starting to peak up. The Trans Ams, of course, of this same generation, have gone through the roof, thanks to Smokey and the Bandit. And, Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds and Noel Snowman really took a shit on Camaro guys' stockings on these things, because for a long time it was very slanted. The Trans Ams brought gold and these didn't really bring much. But now the Trans Ams have really took off and they've gone just out of sight. And just like everything else, they start looking for the next best thing. And you got it right here, guys. Keep your eyes open for these right here. Like I said, it ain't just for the trailer park no more. These things are moving up in the world. I tell you what though, enough with the PSA. I think it's time for a little TNA. Guys, we'll catch you next time at Rabbit's Used Cars. I'll wipe my head off. I'm sweating.
Cut. The talent's hot.
You damn right it's hot.
Tim, go Fanning.
Fluffer. Cut. I feel it running down my forehead. Sweating like a hooker in Sunday service without a songbook. Who the calling me? It's probably Satan. He wants his weather back.
It's hotter than a three-dick billy goat right here.
That's hot.
A three-dick billy goat?
That's hot.
Damn.
You ever seen a three-dick billy goat? I only seen one at the fair one time, but I did see it.
He was hot.
And he was hot.